evening. I'd like to call the November 18th Village Board meeting to order. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Trustee Maher?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call, please.
Kittredge? Oh, I'm sorry, Steve. Well, tonight we're starting with Trustee Stapleton. Go ahead. Okay, great. Now, Kittredge. Kwasniewski?
Here.
Maher?
Here.
McClafferty?
Here.
Stapleton. We already did Stapleton. Why is this? You're down twice. You
My
get to
twin.
say it again. All right, good.
Janelle, are you here?
I'm here.
I
He's
am
definitely
too.
here.
Everyone's here. All right. Okay, next up, the consent agenda. We got quite a bit going on this evening. The first half hour, hopefully it's just a half hour, is just committed to the village board meeting. After that will be the committee of the whole. That will be probably a much lengthier discussion. We will be talking about a couple of things, the recreational cannabis during the committee of the whole meeting, as well as business licensing regulation. So that will be the second part of this evening. So the first half hour, we're going to get through the village board meeting. To start with, the consent agenda, which consists of several items. First off, the approval of minutes for the October 21st Committee of Whole.
I think your cup's blocking you.
Oh, okay, got it. I'll take that, that could be a good thing for certain people. We got the Committee of Whole meetings, October 21st, the October 28th Village Board meeting minutes, the approval of disbursements, an ordinance amending the budget for fiscal year 2019-20 for the Village of Lamont, a resolution authorizing acceptance of improvements to the Outlot 51 and transfer of Outlot 51 to Estates of Montefiore Townhome Owners Association Incorporated, a resolution authorizing the release of letter of credit, the RREF to AREG Montefiore JV LLC, and acceptance of a replacement letter of credit by Professional Development Group LLC for the Estates of Montefiore subdivision. Also, we have a resolution accepting public improvements and releasing the letter of credit for the Limestone of Lamont subdivision. We have a resolution approving Northview Park plat of consolidation, which is 1115 McCarthy Road lot consolidation. We have a resolution authorizing the purchase of an administrative police vehicle. We also have a resolution authorizing the purchase of rock salt. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Snagowski, seconded by trustee McClafferty.
And Mr. Mayor, if you wouldn't mind, I just have to make one quick
Yes.
adjustment to one of the items. Nothing too material, but item number E, which is a resolution authorizing the release of letter of credit and acceptance of the new letter of credit. There's just another sentence I want to add in two of the different preambles. Again, nothing material, but I think it's important for the record. In 2018, we reduced the SENS LOC letter of credit for the Montefiore subdivision, which essentially paved the way for the sale of the townhome portion. So we accepted a new letter of credit for the townhome portion of Montefiore. This is a new letter of credit for the single-family portion of the subdivision, but the developer wanted it to be clear that it's only for the single-family portion of the development. So we added two sentences in the fourth and sixth whereas paragraphs that just made that clear. So
Okay.
just wanted to make
Thanks,
that note.
George, for the clarification. Okay, any other questions or comments regarding the consent agenda? Okay, roll call, please.
Stapleton?
Yes.
Kittredge?
Yes.
Kwasniewski?
Yes.
Maher?
Yes.
McClafferty?
Yes.
Snagowski?
Yes.
Okay, motion approved. I know we have a couple people standing. Feel free to help yourself to one of the empty chairs. I think there's a couple more out there, so feel free to,
And in between meetings, we'll bring in a few more chairs. when we
Yeah.
do that.
and again, appreciate everyone coming out this evening. It's nice to have a full room for the Village Hall as well as the Committee of the Whole. So next up, we have the mayor's report. To start with, we have a proclamation for the St. Cyril and Methodius Blue Ribbon Award. I need a motion to open to open the proclamation for St. Cyril Methodius School.
So moved.
Okay, motion by trustee Snagowski, seconded by trustee Maher. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. The motion carries. We have a proclamation. We'd like to present it to the representatives of the school. If you would like to join me down by the podium. Okay, we have a special award here. St. Cyril and Methodius School became the second Blue Ribbon School winner in Lamont. That is unbelievable. It's impressive just to have one school. We had the high school win it 2 years ago. We now have a private school in St. Cyril. Just a great, a great recognition of the quality of schools, education, both on the public and private side, but also again, this just goes to show you the type of student we have in the communities, in the community that we have as well. So with that being said, I'd like to read the proclamation. Whereas let it be known that St. Cyril Methodius School has been recognized by the United States Department of Education as a 2019 Blue Ribbon School for an exemplary, high-performing school. And whereas the National Blue Ribbon Schools Award was created in 1982 to bring public attention to the best schools in the United States and to facilitate communication and sharing of best practices within and among schools. And whereas in 2019, 360 schools were recognized as National Blue Ribbon Schools, which represent the full diversity of American schools, public schools, including charter schools, magnet choice schools, Title I schools, and non-public schools, including parochial and independent schools. And whereas St. Cyril Methodius School is recognized as exemplary, high-performing, their student achievement in English and mathematics is among the highest in the country, the top 15%, measured by state assessments or nationally normed tests. And whereas St. Cyril and Methodius School is the first grade school in Lamont to receive the National Blue Ribbon School accolades. And whereas St. Cyril and Methodius School has obtained its prestigious award through well-planned initiatives, a dedicated and determined staff, unparalleled leadership, continuous improvements and implementations, and an exceptional student body. And now, therefore, I, John Agofsky, Mayor Lamont, on behalf of the entire village board and the entire community, hereby commend St. Cyril Methodius School for achieving the status of National Blue Ribbon School for exemplary high-performing schools. Again, congratulations. All right, next up, we have a public hearing for the 2019 proposed property tax levy. I need a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Stapleton, seconded by trustee Snagowski. Any comments or questions?
Well, Mr. Mayor, sorry, I just wanted to make one clarifying
Go ahead.
Statement before I turn it over to the board. And Chris, it was posted in the paper, this is a regular occurrence prior to budget process. We're required to have a public hearing on our tax levy. Specifically in the statute, it's known as the truth in taxation process, and it was listed in the paper as such on the mayor's report on the agenda. It's called the property tax levy public hearing, one and the same thing, but I want to make that clarifying statement that it is the truth in taxation hearing here tonight. So,
Okay.
thank you. And then I'll turn it over to Chris for any.
So tonight is the public hearing for the truth in taxation. It's, the amount that the board has, that was proposed, and the board has agreed to levy is, $3,629,464. It's 4% greater than the previous year. Truth in taxation law says we only really have to do a public hearing if it's 5% or greater. However, due to transparency, the boards have always, we've always decided to post to the paper and put together a tax, a public hearing. I do want to note that 1.9% of the 4% is CPI, the balance 2.1% is growth. So the amount requested is to help support the snow removal, just basically all the village services for the new growth area as well.
So again, to repeat what you said, Chris, 4% is the increase.
Yes.
Approximately half of it is due to CPI inflation, and the other half is just due to the 100 new units of housing we have.
Correct.
Okay. And Ralph, question, how much did salt go up this year? What percentage? 10%. Good answer. Good job, Ralph. So that's amazing. Just our salt alone went up 10%. Okay, with that being said, any other questions or comments for Chris? Okay, I assume we're just taking a motion here, or I'm sorry, we'll just do, we don't need a roll call, correct?
No, I need to close the public hearing. You have to ask for audience comment first.
Okay, all right, we'll now close, a motion to close the public hearing.
First, audience first.
Okay, all right, anyone from the audience want to comment? Okay, all right, we need a motion to
Make a
close.
motion to close the public
Okay, motion by trustee Snagowski. Seconded by trustee Maher. It is now closed. Now need, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Okay, next up, we have quite a few things going on in the village. I first want to mention we have a committee of the whole meeting, like I mentioned earlier, after this. That's where we will be discussing the recreational cannabis, as well as the other UDO changes, amendments. Also, this holiday season, we are lighting up Lamont in the downtown. Make sure you take a stroll through our historic downtown and enjoy the illuminated holiday decoration sponsored by the Village of Lamont in the Downtown Merchants Alliance. We had a lot of positive feedback last year, and this year I am told is going to be even bigger and better. So again, please check that out. You will not want to miss it. Also, Hometown Holiday will be held on December 7th from 3 to 7 p.m. The tree lighting ceremony will take place at 5 p.m., along with many activities for the entire family, including visits with Santa at Diggs on Canal. So check that out. Bring the kids. Also, Tractors for Toys will be picking up toys at several designated spots on December 7th with their final destination in downtown Lamont at Hometown Holiday. This is their second year of collecting these toys, and all the toys collected stay in Lamont and are delivered locally to children in need. So we encourage everyone to participate in that. Also, the Art and Culture Commission is hosting their annual Holiday Artists Bazaar at Lamont Center for the Arts from now until December 21st. They are located next to Aldi's and are open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Also, the Lamont Park District Breakfast with Santa takes place on December 7th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Their Frigid 5K is on December 8th from 8 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. So please check that out. Also, lastly, Hope and Friendship has a number of activities taking place as well this holiday season. So please visit our website, community calendar, to find information on this. You can find that at www.lamont.il.us. So with that being said, that's it for the mayor's mention. Now we're going to open it up for audience participation. If you would like to participate, please step up to the podium and mention your name.
My name is Victoria Cobbett. I live at 733 Singer Avenue, And I have to first say, my medication was changed today, so I'm very short of breath, so I might have to just stop and breathe for a minute.
That's all right.
I have a prepared statement I'd like to read. But first of all, I do want to say I was unable to attend the two events on October 3rd and the 8th, I think it was, but I did read the information on the websites, which I assumed were just still due diligence to let us know what was happening with the state.
She's commenting on the cannabis, just so you
Yeah.
know. I don't know if you want to take those.
Yeah,
now.
we'll have a public section. Are you talking, do you want to discuss the
Yeah, I
cannabis?
want to discuss cannabis.
Okay, yeah, we're going to have a whole meeting right after our board meeting to discuss that.
Okay,
if
so
you
I have to
wish
get
to.
up again.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to sign
Again,
in while I'm
for
here.
anyone that walked in late, we're going to have, after this meeting at 7 o'clock, we're going to be talking about the UDO as well as the cannabis. Okay, do we have any other one in the audience that wants to come on up, please?
My name is Michaeline Rocco. I live in Fox Hills Estates. And my question concerns the proposed property tax levy. I understand taxes are going to be raised to take care of the new subdivisions, snow removal, and those types of services that are provided. Well, those new subdivisions are paying property tax, aren't they? So don't the property taxes cover snow removal and the additional services that the town of Lamont provides?
Yeah, so your question is that taxes are going up because of these new subdivisions?
That's what I just understood.
Oh, yeah,
Is
okay,
that right?
let me clarify that.
Because of more, yeah.
Yeah, let me clarify that. So new property owners that come in will be paying property taxes. So those were taxpayers that were not paying the year before or years before. So because they are now in the village, they now are taxpayers. So that's their piece of what's going to be being paid. So of course, their allotment will be taking care of their subdivisions and you know, the schools, so forth, so on. Again, out of $1 of tax, real estate taxes, only 7 cents of it goes towards police and streets and sanitation. The rest is mainly schools, the township, Joliet Junior College, mosquito abatement, so forth, so on.
All right,
I'd
so.
like to try that add a little bit more to that, John. Again, the tax levy is being increased. The levy is being increased because of the growth in town. When we talk about growing the tax base within the town, we need to encompass that into the whole package then. That's what tonight's about. Raising the area that is consumed by the tax levy. Again, what John is saying, we're adding new businesses, we're adding new homes that were previously not paying taxes. We have to add those to the tax payroll. That's what this is.
Okay,
And then the other half is what we would, you know, like Chris mentioned a 4% increase. 2% of it approximately is due to new growth, correct? And the other 2% would be inflationary, such as salt going up 10%.
Go ahead, Chris.
Can I add one more thing? This is a dollar amount. This is not a rate. So when you receive your tax bill, there's a rate, and then it times it by your assessed valuation. This is a dollar amount, and then the dollar amount will go up, but so those properties will come in too, and so that the overall valuation of the village will go up. So your rate may, it may, I don't know, it depends how much everything goes up, but your rate may even be either more or less. It's not the dollar amount. The dollar amount is what we do. So we have the dollar amount is increasing, but the rate will reflect on how the village is assessed.
This is not an increase of the rates, in
Yes.
other words, is what Chris is saying. The rates are the same. It's increasing the dollar value
Yes.
of the property tax base within the community.
does this affect just the town of Lamont or the township?
I understood.
Vil-
Were you
village
Our
in-
zone.
levy is the village only.
Village
You were in the
only.
Village
township,
only.
weren't you?
Yeah.
You live in, oh, you were in town. What was your address
Oh,
again?
no, we're in the township.
You're in the township.
the
So-
township.
Yeah.
That's what I thought I heard.
So this, yeah.
Wouldn't
this
affect you at
This
all.
is not applicable
Fox
to
Hill.
you.
Township has their own process, and each district has their own levy process.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else? Okay, all right. That wraps up the mayor's report. Next up, we have the clerk's report.
Thank you. The ordinance, if passed this evening, would be ordinance O-84-19, and this is granting a variation to 17.07.010F and 2.2, I'm sorry, of the Lamont Unified Development Ordinance to allow attached front-loaded garage to be assessed from the street rather than the existing alley located at 541 Lidashowski Street in Lamont, which is the St. Cyril and Methodius Church Rectory home.
Okay, thanks, Charlene. Okay, need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion by trustee Snagowski, seconded by trustee McClafferty. Jason, you want to take this, or Mark?
Thank you. So as noted, the R4A zoning district has a requirement that requires new construction to have their driveway access via the alley if one exists. St. Cyril's Methodist Church owns a single-family lot at 541 Lidachowski. They're requesting a variation from that requirement for them to utilize for the new home the street as they had been previously. This item was previously discussed by the Committee of the Whole, and on November 6th, the public hearing with the Planning and Zoning Commission, where the commission voted 6-0 to approve the requested variation.
Thanks, Mark. Any other questions or comments on this? Okay, roll call, please.
Stapleton?
Yes.
Kittredge?
Yes.
Kwasniewski?
Yes.
Maher?
Yes.
McClafferty?
Yes.
Snagowski?
Yes.
Okay, motion approved.
The next item if passed this evening would be O-85-19, and this is granting a special use for a child care facility in the B1 zoning district at 15907 West 127th Street in Lamont, and that is for a kiddie academy.
Okay, need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Kwasniewski, seconded by trustee Snagowski. Jason or Mark, you taking this?
One as well. Thank you. So this item is for the vacant lot that's just west of the post office facility on 127th Street. The petitioners are requesting, in this case, a special use to allow for a child daycare facility. The property has the B1 zoning, which does require child daycare facilities to obtain special use approval. So this first item is the ordinance related to that special use. The following item, just getting it slightly ahead of myself here, are for requested variations relating to the proposed parking lot that they'd like to have on their site. This item was before the Planning and Zoning Commission in October, where they voted 7-0 in favor of approving the requested special use as well as variations.
Thanks, Mark. Any other comments, questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Stapleton?
Yes.
Kittredge? Yes. Kwasniewski?
Yes.
Maher?
Yes.
McClafferty?
Yes.
Snagowski?
Yes.
Okay, motion approved.
The next ordinance, if passed this evening, would be O-86-19, and this is granting certain variations at 17.07.040, and that's from Table 17-10-01, and 17.21-030, K, from the Lamont Unified Development Ordinance to allow a parking lot to be entirely in the front with less parking stalls than the UDO requirement, and that's located at 15907 West 127th Street, which is also the Kiddie Academy.
Okay, need a motion, please.
So moved. Second.
Okay, motion by trustee Maher, seconded by trustee McClafferty. Again, Mark filled us in on the parking. Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Stapleton?
Yes.
Kittredge?
Yes.
Kwasniewski?
Yes.
Maher?
Yes.
McClafferty?
Yes.
Snagowski?
Yes.
Okay, motion approved.
The next item would be O-87-19, and this is amending Title 17 of the Lamont Municipal Code, the Lamont Unified Development Ordinance of 2008, which is concerning the downtown district.
Okay, need a motion, please.
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Maher, seconded by trustee Kwasniewski. Jason?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. After extensive discussion at Committee of the Whole and following some recent redevelopment in downtown, staff started taking a look at the downtown district regulations, and we noticed some irregularities or inconsistencies, rather, with the way some reviews were done, namely type 1, type 2 reviews. In order to be consistent, to ensure that development goes to the Planning and Zoning Commission for a public hearing, as well as to tighten up the regulations regarding multifamily housing, staff's recommending a planned unit development process for these types of uses. And this was heard at the Planning and Zoning Commission and was recommended unanimously.
And Jason, just to clarify that, so the downtown in our UDO code had a different process to approve development, correct?
Correct, yeah. Anything up to 15 units could be approved by right. Anything up to 20 units, the inconsistency was there between 15 and 20, could be approved through public hearing at the here at the village board meeting. We've changed that to ensure that anything over 7 units above, requires a full public hearing with the Planning and Zoning Commission.
So again, what we've done is we made it go through the regular process like everything else. Otherwise, all downtown would either go through either staff if it was a type 1, right? Or if it was a type 2, it'd go straight to the board.
That's correct.
So we're now putting it through the regular planning and zoning, another public meeting as well.
That's right.
Okay, great. And like you mentioned, there was other language to be cleared up, either if it was 15 or 20 units, it was unclear. For instance, it sounded like potentially someone could come in and build a 19-unit build, definitely 15 or less, potentially 19, without any review except for a type 1.
That's right.
Okay, which would have been nothing in front of the board or nothing in front of the planning and zoning. So, okay. Any other questions or comments regarding that?
Just a quick, and it does not change the requirement for the majority of the development in the downtown has to go through historic preservation as well.
That's right. My favorite commission, Historic Preservation Commission, does see a certificate of appropriateness for all new development downtown.
Correct.
Great. Any other questions, comments?
Yeah, could you just clarify the PUD? So we have on our UDOs, we have permitted use, we have special use, and then we have PUD. Would you just mind clarifying the differences? for us?
Yeah, planned unit development is a type of special use, so it's still a use. And we added thresholds. So there's certain thresholds that if a development meets these thresholds, there's no required, you're not allowed to take any other process, other planned unit development. So, for example, if you're developing 7 units or more, if you're developing over 3 stories in this instance as well for the downtown district, you're required to go through that planned unit development or PUD process. So that's an application to the village, notice in the paper, notice sent to neighbors, a public hearing at the PZC, and then discussion at committee of the whole, and finally approval by village board.
And we said that's over 7 units now, right?
Yeah, 7 and above.
And then it used to be 15, so therefore at 15, we could have had someone come in with 15 units, and it was permitted, so therefore we couldn't object with the 15-unit apartment building.
That's right.
So we made this more strict, is what it sounds like.
Yes.
Or even potentially 19, because it was
Right, with
somewhat
our code,
confusing.
Yeah.
Okay. And then from a height, we just clarified the height to be 3 stories, right?
3 stories or 37 and a half feet.
Okay. And that was a gap as well in the existing ordinance, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And previously, if a building was to be approved over that, it went straight to the village board.
Yes.
And now it's going through planning and zoning. Got it. Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, with that being said, roll call, please.
Stapleton?
Yes.
Kittredge?
Yes.
Kwasniewski?
Yes.
Maher?
Yes.
McClafferty?
Yes.
Snagowski?
Yes.
Okay, motion approved.
The next item would be O-88-19, and this is amending the zoning map of the Village of Lamont for 15 parcels associated with Route 83 and main redevelopment site in Lamont, Illinois.
Okay, need a motion, please.
So move.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Stapleton, seconded by trustee Kittredge. Jason, you taking this?
Yes. So the items, the parcels in question are generally located at the northwest corner of Illinois Route 83 or Archer in Maine. These are properties that were acquired by the village as well as adjacent properties. As they were acquired, they were annexed into the village. Many of these were not incorporated at the time of acquisition. And so held on to a R1 or a single-family residential designation, which is common for newly annexed properties. With potential redevelopment and discussion at next month's COW, we have recommended rezoning the properties that front Route 83 to B3 arterial commercial to ensure that those are redeveloped as commercial properties and rezone the portion of the manufacturing portion on Main Street from M2 to a lower intensity M1 manufacturing district. This was heard at the last Planning and Zoning Commission meeting and was recommended unanimously.
Okay, thanks, Jason. Again, we've talked about this in other public meetings. We've talked about how, starting in 2011, land started being acquired. We have an investment upwards of $7.5 million between 2011 and 2014. We now have the ability, or an agreement, at least a preliminary agreement, I should say, with Bluestone to develop this property. This property will be sold at $2.7 million. Again, we have 7.5 invested. It will be sold at $2.7 million. However, we have the ability on an annual basis with the development going in to earn $1 million a year. And that consists mainly of sales tax, about 2/3 sales tax, 1/3 real estate taxes. Again, this is in a TIF. So theoretically, once this is built out, we should be able to earn our money back or break even over a 5-year period, and everything over 5 years is going to be $1 million coming back in to the village. It should be said that, yes, it's being sold at $2.7 million, but this developer, I think we've all been down there right now. The construction that's going on there is IDOT. That's just simply roads. That's basically 83 in Maine. 16 acres of that land is not shovel-ready. We have some issues with the land, correct, Jason? It has to be excavated. It has to be engineered. Utilities have to be buried. Utilities have to be brought over. These are all the things that are in this agreement that the developer will do. Again, the village is not in the development business. This is a deal that, we've been working on. We've talked to 5 or 6 developers. We've gone from, density apartment buildings to senior living, to industrial, to parking. Actually, probably the best value we could get for this land would be truck parking. But if we did that, we'd probably only get about maybe our money back, if that. But we'd be having trucks parked there, and we wouldn't be earning $1, and it'd be, on the entire slot of land. So again, we have to balance that. Again, this is something that's going to bring not only commercial, potentially a restaurant, a fueling station, help me out here, a little bit more retail, correct?
Yeah, we've been insistent through the development process that we find users that generate sales tax for the village, since that benefits not only, the properties at 83 in Maine, but go to the general fund and could benefit the entire village.
Mm-hmm. And this property it's a tough piece of property. It's right, it borders, highly, industrial areas, and we had industrial, significant citriform was on this property on the west side. So there are some land issues with that as well. So it's been a very difficult property. Again, we've been working on this. Again, this is something that can bring back $1 million a year in fuel tax, sales tax, as well as real estate taxes. So again, encourage everyone to check it out. We have Q&A out on the website. You can get additional information as well as the proposal right now of what Bluestone is offering, okay? So with that being said, any other questions or comments?
Yeah, John, I want to clarify something. We're currently in public hearing for purchasing of the property, some of the property by Bluestone, right? Or a public time period for bids to be accepted?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so, go ahead.
Yeah,
If you
point
want,
of
yeah,
clarification.
the village published a request for proposals or an RFP for the purchase of the property. That RFP closed on Friday, and the only proposal we received was from Bluestone.
Okay,
And that will be discussed in December at the Committee of the Whole.
Okay, and then was the proposal to buy all the lots on that property that we're creating?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right. With that being said, no. 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 Okay. There's no public hearing right now. On this topic. Correct.
Then I just want to clarify, this is just to change the zoning, so the only
To
thing we're
change the
voting
zoning,
on
yeah.
right now is to change the zoning.
Correct.
I think what
We'll
you talked
discuss
about.
it at the December Committee of the Whole.
So the December Committee of the Whole will talk about the sale of the property, right? Based on the one bid that we received when it was open for anyone receiving it.
That's right.
So I think what we're trying to do is just do a clarification of what the future intent is of this property, but we're only voting on changing the zoning.
Right.
That's
So
a
we'll
great way
go
to
through
put
the
it.
entire process. We'll go through a committee of the whole.
Yep.
We'll go through a board meeting to discuss this specific,
The sale of the
the
property.
Bluestone, which is the only one we received, correct? Okay. All right.
So it sounds like you're changing the zoning now,
We are.
That's- Yes.
Correct.
without any public hearing.
Public hearing for the zoning was at the Planning and Zoning
Planning and
Commission.
Yeah.
And what was their recommendation?
In favor, unanimous, right, Jason?
Unanimous.
You're not allowed to speak at the building and zoning meeting. You're not allowed to speak in regard to, you want to collect revenue from this property, you're thinking of putting the marijuana dispensary on this property, you were not allowed to speak.
Yeah, and again, we're going to be having those public meetings. This is not about that. This is just strictly the zoning. As far as what's going on there is what's going to be discussed in future public meetings.
But you're discussing the zoning, which is what allows something to go there.
No, what we're doing is we're just discussing potentially what could go there. What actually goes there is what will go in front of the committee of the whole. Again, there's only been one proposal. It sounded like it closed on Friday. That was the one proposal. Again, that is out on the website. Okay?
But her point is you're changing the zoning so you would allow the dispensary there.
No, we're not. This has nothing to do with the zoning for a dispensary. There is a dispensary, again, we'll be talking about that in the next meeting. That will go through a whole separate process.
After this meeting, what's the zoning on the property going to be?
On the village,
Portion of it M1 and B3.
B3.
B3 and M1. So you're changing the zoning tonight to B3 and M1.
correct.
Yes,
What,
consistent with the development proposal.
They didn't ask for public input, and they couldn't speak at the zoning board, so there was no public input with the zoning.
They could speak.
Is it?
Yeah, you're,
Yeah.
No, the attorney shut us down.
Yeah.
on the rezoning.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike, you want to?
That was on the cannabis, but as far as the rezoning for this property, there was no discussion whatsoever. That was before. The only thing in front of the planning board was that issue. Then later, the issue became regarding the initial zoning for cannabis, which you'll be discussing at the committee of the whole. So no, that's not correct.
So this has nothing to do with zoning for cannabis, just to clarify.
About zoning for cannabis,
Yeah.
you're changing the zoning from R1 to something else.
Correct. And that was discussed, correct? At the,
Yeah, in your packet is the Planning and Zoning Commission minutes, and so, on this particular item, it notes that two residents spoke. One indeed asked how the zoning change would support cannabis, and then another
Could
inquired, could support cannabis, yeah. And another inquired about how traffic is going to be controlled.
okay. So who was at that planning and zoning meeting? Okay. So just to clarify, who were the two people that spoke? So there was a public section.
Stephanie Kovacek and Sue Palm.
I was shut down. I got up to speak. And this gentleman stopped me and said.
Okay,
Guys,
all right,
guys, we're
let's
gonna-
just,
you will not-
all right,
you can
we'll
speak
talk-
tonight,
Yeah,
okay?
we'll talk about it in the committee of the whole, okay? All right? All right. With that being said, any other questions or comments from the board regarding this?
I don't think.
I'm sorry, we're going to do that during committee of the whole, okay? Thank you. With that being said, any other questions or comments by the board? No. Okay, all right, roll call, please.
Stapleton?
Yes.
Kittredge?
Yes.
Kwasniewski?
Yes.
Maher?
Yes.
McClafferty?
Yes.
Snagowski?
Yes.
The next item. on the-
Okay, motion approved.
I'll let you say that. Ordinance would be O-89-19, and this is amending the Title 17 of the Lamont Municipal Code, the Lamont Unified Development Ordinance of 2008, and this is a freight transportation terminal use.
Okay, need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by trustee Snagowski, seconded by trustee McClafferty. Jason, you want to take this?
Yeah, with the rezoning, we wanted to clarify how this use would be permitted. Currently, freight transportation is allowed by special use in M1. It's not permitted in M2, which is a higher intensity use, and is permitted by right in M3. In order to correct that, and sort of alongside rezoning village-owned property to M1, we recommended eliminating the use from M1 and moving the special use from M1 to M2. This was heard at the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting as well and was recommended unanimously.
And, okay, so not allowed in M1, special use in M2, and by at a
Regular
permission
permitted
under
use in
M3.
M3.
Permitted, okay.
Okay, thanks, Jason. Any other questions or comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Stapleton?
Yes.
Kittredge?
Yes.
Kwasniewski?
Yes.
Maher?
Yes.
McClafferty?
Yes.
Snagowski?
Yes.
Okay, motion approved. Thank you, Charlene.
Thank you.
All right, next up, Mike, Village Attorney Report. Do you have anything?
I have nothing else.
Okay, George, Administrator Report.
Yeah, a quick item, Mr. Mayor. I know Ralph's got a development or a project update here tonight, but I just want to talk about the meeting schedule coming up. Again, you mentioned we'll take a short break here tonight, 5-minute break, and then get into the cow meeting after this meeting adjourns. But the rest of the year shakes out on December 9th. Will be our final formal voting meeting of the year. Tonight, we talked about the tax levy process. We had our public hearing. On the 9th is when it'll be up for formal vote. That is the official kickstart to the budget process. We've already done some things internally with staff on handing out sheets, trying to setting up the protocol for the budget season coming up. So that'll be the first process there in December. I invite everyone to come out to that meeting, and but the majority of the budget meetings will happen January, February, March. So keep an eye out on our website. But the 9th, you'll see the tax levy, all of our bonds that we issue throughout the years for police station, public works building, village hall, etc. Every bond gets abated. What that means is the bond debt service does not go on the property tax bill. The village pays for the bond with its own funds through designated funds, either water and sewer funds, sales tax, income tax. So every year, December 9th, there'll be about how many, 10 ordinances, Chris? And Chris will have to record those at the various counties. That means that the property taxes don't go up, but the village takes on that debt internal. You'll see all that in December, along with the tax levy. On December 16th, we mentioned not a whole lot on the agenda now other than Route 83 in Maine, so please come back out. That'll be a committee of the whole meeting where we will talk about the Route 83 in Maine development. Again, and any formal sale of property has to happen at a voting meeting. So there will be further process after December 16th into the new year on any sale of any property. So please keep an eye out on our website. And we meet second and fourth Monday of every month for formal voting meetings. Sometimes a holiday gets in there. That's what happened this month. We had November 11th, Veterans Day. So we had to cancel our regular meeting, so we're having a double meeting today. So this is not typical, but keep an eye out on our website, and we invite everyone to get involved in the budget process. Now that we have a captive audience here tonight, please come out. It's interesting, I think, right, Chris? Some would say it's interesting, but get involved. We'll try to answer your questions and fund the priorities for the coming year. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Thanks, George. Okay, next up, any board reports at all? Staff?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead,
Real quick,
Chief.
you might see some scruffy-faced officers around town the next couple of months. Departments, once again.
Do you qualify, or is that neat?
I was on vacation last week, so. And we're once again participating in No Shave November and December. We do this for the last couple of years to raise donations for families that are battling cancer in the Lamont area. Last year, we had 2 recipients, and we raised about $9,000 for them. This year, we have 3 families that we're going to be fundraising for, so we'll probably go into January in order to do that. The officers are allowed to wear beards. Female officers can wear fingernail colors that are usually prohibited by general order, but they participate as well. We also take outside donations. If anybody wants to contribute, they can write a check to the Lamont Police Benevolent Association, put No Shave at the memo line, and we'll know it gets what it's for there, and you can drop it off at the police department. It's a great benefit, and we hope that we can fundraise for these 3 families at the levels we did the last couple of years.
Okay, thanks, Chief. Ralph, got anything for us?
I do. A
Okay.
few things tonight. We're also allowing nail polish at Public Works as well. We,
Females only, or
no, whoever
anybody
wants to
can go,
wear it, it's
right?
all
There you go, that's fair.
It's all good. So, first thing, 83 in Maine. I'm gonna go with the last update we got from IDOT. They're still, they're saying mid-December.
December?
That's all I could say.
The last update was November, right?
That was before Halloween. Georgia giving an update at the last meeting, and it's mid-December, from what I'm hearing. We've completed our 2019 MFT road resurfacing program. Just a few things to button up with that. In conjunction with the Forge project, we'll be doing some tree trimming and removal down from Olin, the old K Steel Company, east to the boat launch. We're gonna be widening that road in conjunction with the Forge. That project should start next week with the tree trimming and removal. And then the trail will be open as long as, you know, temporary closures, I'm guessing, throughout the work. A reminder to our residents, December 3rd, 4th, and 5th is the last days for yard waste, for waste management. So go get your paper bags, put your leaves in the paper bags, and you've already paid for the service, so go ahead and get that done before the snow starts flying again. So do me a favor and do not put the leaves in the street, because that just creates a snowball effect, and then we have everybody putting the leaves in the street, and we don't have the equipment to pick that up. So
And it
just-
blocks the drains.
It does block the drains and causes localized flooding, you know, in some locations. So keep them out of the street and just follow our program with waste management. That's all I have.
Thanks, Ralph. And again, we've had a conference call with IDOT. Just last week, we met in person with IDOT, the head of IDOT. Among, you know, one of the main things we talked about was the delay in this intersection. We know it's very frustrating for all our residents. And it's just, you know, it was like piling on. Nicor came out of nowhere. It's their right to go ahead and install a utility line. They dropped that on us at the last minute, but we have no say in that. So it still is very frustrating. And again, I asked them 3 times again. I go November of this year, right? November of this year, they said yes. So again, let's hope that that outsourced company can get it completed. So we appreciate everyone hanging in there. And we've heard everyone loud and clear. Nothing's more frustrating than going down Main. You forget to go down McCarthy instead, and you're stuck in traffic for 10 or 15 minutes. So again, looking forward to hopefully getting that completed by the end of the month. With that being said, next up, do we have any new or unfinished business?
John, I want to touch one more time on the tax levy. The terminology could be very confusing, so I just want to make sure everybody understands. Once again, when we talk about growing our tax base with trying to bring in more sales tax, with building more properties to increase the amount of money that comes into the village based on those property taxes, that's so that, as Chris mentioned, the rates can either be maintained, go up less, or be reduced, because we now have a broader base to collect from. So that's our goal all the time, is to try to increase the tax dollars that come in, not on the backs of property taxpayers, but from other revenue sources, which are sales tax. So that's how it works. In order to encompass and capture those taxes, we need to, each year, pass the levy to include these new properties. I hope that helps. I'm just trying to clarify what we're talking about here, because it is confusing.
Thanks, Rick. Anyone else? Okay, with that being said, no executive session. Need a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion by trustee Maher, seconded by trustee Kwasniewski. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. We are officially adjourned with the village board meeting. We're going to take a quick 2-minute break.